I'm Jadinah and Gustave, Esquire. You can call me AttorneyJ. And I am here to discuss. So this is a follow-up video to Stephen Boss tWitch's his estate. What's going on with his estate? The last video we left off giving an example of whether he had an estate plan or if he did not have an estate plan. Also, we wanted to know what state he was in, who his heirs were. So we were able to identify, yes, he is married, he had his children. Also, he was in the state of California. So we know California is a community property state, right? Okay, so as a community property state, that means that everything is 50-50 that the court determines is marital property. Now, the news is out there. About 24 hours ago, it broke that his wife had to file a probate case. So we know that he does not have a will or anything in writing, or it was not complete because not everything is in there. Now, remember one of the things I talk about with probate, if you have probate, your information is public, meaning anyone can see it. They know what you have. They know what the person's claiming and who the individuals are within your case. They can find out your address, just a lot of information, okay? And that's exactly what we're facing right now. So his wife did file on February 6th, but it was only revealed on the 8th is when the filing itself became public. And he did not have a will, but what she did, which is a little different, but the information is still public. You see it right here. I'm going to describe what you're looking at right here. What she did is she asked for spousal rights. What does that mean? So we know because in the state of California, it's 50-50. That means that if any property was attained while they were married and it was not inheritance or something he had before, which we'll call separate property, that means that it should come to the spouse. Anything additional, she would be splitting with, remember, his spouse, children, parents. She'll be splitting with the children, and they had 3 children. So she's asking for spousal rights to the property he had. So what we have right here, what you're looking at the first section. I did not show the beginning because it has their address and all that information. We don't want to expose that, but I want you guys to understand what happens, right? So she basically says the date that they were married, and she says, and I'm going to tell you this point, you realize it says the value of his estate or what he had prior to their marriage. And she said he had nothing. Do we really believe he had nothing? That was 2013. Do you really believe he had nothing? But that's fine. But the reason why, so let's ask ourselves the reason why she said that. She basically said that because she doesn't want anything that's listed there to be considered separate property because that's less in the pot for her and her children to share. So it would probably now be something where someone else can have a claim or the parents can have a claim. So she's basically saying everything is marital property. And the other key reason why is because she does not want to have a full probate. So what she's doing, this is not a full probate. It's still public. She still had to file it with the court in probate court, but she's saying, let's not do the full administration. Let me just get what I'm entitled to as his wife. Okay. So what are the things that she's saying she's entitled to? That again is public. So we're moving on to the next page. Here is the next page. And this is the list of all of the things she's saying that he has. She's asking for 1/2 of all of these things because why? She's married and she's in California. Yes, I say it together, community property state. So what's listed there? We have the Stephen Boss. The Stephen Boss Productions Inc. She's asking for 1/2 of that. She's asking for 1/2 of his Goldman Sachs investment account. You can see it. It's right here. You can see it. She's asking for the cast and crew production services, the royalties that he had from there, the Disney Worldwide Services, GEP Talent Services, royalties from the SAG-AFTRA, all of those things, right? So that's one of the things with probate. You have to identify everything the person had. This may not be all of it. The thing is, if there was a bank account, so you realize no bank accounts are listed here. With a bank account, the good thing that you would do if you're married or even if you're not married, you put a transfer on death. So you put that person's name, that means it does not have to go to probate. So technically, if there were bank accounts, that did not have either those two together as owners, then the other person automatically get it, right? If you have someone as an owner on your bank account, but also if you have a transfer on death or pay on death, one of those designations with your bank, then that goes directly to the person and you do not have to list it on probate. So that's a good thing. Also the property. So if you guys have a marital property and you already have both of your names on there, that does not have to go on probate either. So we do not see her list any of their properties on there, at least their marital home that's listed in the document. I don't see it listed here as one of the things that she's looking for. So that actually shows that some of estate planning was done by making sure that ownership was on both of the names, or that she was listed where he can as a beneficiary, so she get it directly. There was probably life insurance, we're not sure, but those were things that would go directly to an individual as well if she was listed on there. So that's where we are right now. So she's basically telling the court, listen, we're married, we're in a community property state. I'm asking for my spousal right to it. So that's the first one, to half. And she's also saying that because it is marital property, I am also claiming his half as well. She does list the children in there. She does not list anyone else. So it's her and the children. They're listed as the heirs so that they can share in what it is that they have. Now, remember, all of the children are theirs together because he adopted her child as well. So an officially adopted child is treated as your child as well. So that means that everything kind of stays in the house. And from there, if the court grants it, so she would just have one hearing. If the court go ahead and grant her petition and acknowledge that he had no property before marriage, that everything listed here is the only thing he had, and that they split it that way, then she would just have that one hearing, and everything we see here listed, she will get what she requested, and then the case will be closed. So this one would not be a long drag out unless later we hear that there's some other things going on. So this is the recent update on Stephen Boss's estate. We know now that there was no will. Oh, and she also mentioned that there was no agreement. So there was no prenup and there was no postnup. That's what she put in there. We have to believe it because there's no other information to tell us that it's not true. So if you had the questions, those are the answers to the most recent revelation that there was not a will in tWitch's estate. I'm Jadinah and Gustave Esquire. You can call me Attorney J. And do not miss out on our other products. So we also have the SBL Legacy Vault, where you keep all of your personal business information, your logins, your utilities, your insurance, Social Security, everything in a military grade vault, because you want obviously to be able to access your information, and you have your estate planning documents in there. You're able to add a video vault. That is my favorite part. So the link is below, and click on the link, go on our page, read about it, and subscribe. Also, our estate planning course, I have a video on that as well. So click the link to learn more about the estate planning course. And see you in the next video.